Okay, so greetings and welcome to today's educational program, Hiring, Training, and Engaging the New Generations in Quality Management. This is your moderator, Doug Wood, with ASQ's Quality Management Division. Today we have the distinct pleasure of hearing from Luciana Paulis. Please join me in welcoming her. Otherwise known as Lou, she's a culture coach, a speaker, and an author. She has an MBA, and she also works as a quality engineer. She's an accomplished book author, contributor on thriveglobal.com, Quality Progress, Delivering Happiness, and other international media outlets. She's helped a wide range of companies from small business to corporations to transform their culture to become more agile, more engaged, and innovative. Past companies she's worked for include ExxonMobil, Daenerys, and Coca-Cola. She's the CEO of BizStorming Training and Consulting, LLC. Luciana is also ASQ West South Central Regional Deputy Director, and she serves for various nonprofits as chair and advisor. She's bilingual in English and Spanish. And so, without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Luciana Paulis. Lou, the floor is yours.
Hi, Doug. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Thank you. We are ready to go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Doug, for inviting me today. Thanks to the Quality Management Division. I'm very pleased to be here today. And let's start. So, today, I hope you're all staying at home safe. This COVID-19 crisis only adds more condiments to what the workforce is already changing these days. There are many new technologies demanding continuous innovation. The ginormous amount of new products make customers more picky than ever. They want products more customized for them. More technologies and more products bring more information and complexity to the table, which require multidisciplinary and global teams to handle them. And now, with this COVID-19, we all had to adapt to these teams to work remotely and become more self-disciplined to be able to work from home. So there are many changes going on today. Now, working together in these multidisciplinary teams is not an easy task to accomplish. These diverse teams are formed by the different generations, which have essentially different working habits. For example, this past month, you may have noticed, if you've been working remotely, that some team members got used to work remotely much faster than others. Some of them were already asking to work from home. And they are probably these millennials and their younger generations, their younger counterparts, post-millennials or Generation Z, which already represent altogether 40% of the workforce. So as just the same way that they work differently, their approach to customer service, safety, or continuous improvement and quality management is totally different from the previous generations. So to attract, to recruit, and to retain these generations, to help improve the organization, we really need to change the way we work. We need to help these generations really make an impact. This is what I will call from now on the we culture way, where everyone, we all matter. Everyone needs to be heard. So what are the generations that we have today? We have the baby boomers who were born between the 1944 and 1964. We have the Gen Xers born between 1965 and 1979 or 1980. Then the Millennials born between 1981 and 1995. And then we're also now hiring the new generation, the Gen Z, that were born after 1995. And every generation has different values, different ways of communicating, and different ways of feeling motivated. So there are many concerns among, discussions between the generations. Gen Xers complain that millennials are not committed. Millennials complain that the Gen Xers are not passionate and work too hard. They stay up too late. Baby boomers want to call to the Gen Z on the phone, but the Gen Z just want to reply by sending a TikTok video. So probably if you don't know what TikTok is, maybe you want to answer the next poll with a no. So the next poll is about trying to figure out how many in the audience are millennials and who are not. So this is just a yes/no answer. If you are a millennial or Gen Z, or you were born after 1980, please say yes, type yes. If you were born before 1980, just say no. Okay, do we have the polling right there?
Okay, we will open it now.
Okay, good. So chat yes if you are a millennial or Gen Z or were born after 1980, from 1980 onwards. Not, so say no.
Okay, we're getting there. We still have about 26% who have not on the poll. They're getting at it. We don't want to cut them off too much, right?
Good. Getting used to all these new technologies, right?
Yeah, you should be able to click on that. We're getting there.
Yeah, well, you will throughout the presentation many other tools that you can use to communicate better online. So we're gonna get to that. All right.
Okay, so not everyone has answered, but I think we've got a pretty good representative picture. So I'm going to close the poll here, and we will share that with everybody. Okay, there is a slight delay of about 15 seconds to give people a chance to kind of finish what they were doing. We don't want to cut anybody off here. It'll be done in just a moment.
Good.
So there's our answers.
I want to know what's going on.
Okay, so there's our results.
Okay. Good. So we have 48 out of 220 with a yes and 123 with a no. And I'm thinking they are all wanting to know who are the millennials then and the Gen Zs. What do they do? How do they work? How do we engage them, right? Okay, and now we're almost 233 participants, so there are like 50 or more that didn't participate, but we have a good percentage. Okay, excellent. So let's move to the next slide. So yes, so we said that almost 123 out of 220 today are not millennials or Gen Z. So you probably want to know more about them. So what about them? Well, millennials are currently the largest generation in the U.S. They like to stay connected 24/7. So probably you already suspected that. 80% of them sleep with their phones next to their beds. Guilty. And 27% are self-employed. They want to buy products that create a great buying experience for them. They don't want just an Apple phone. They want to go to this massive Apple store or check it, try to buy the phone from home through augmented reality. You know, they want all these new things. They want to explore the product. They want to watch reviews, customize the phone or whatever product they get. They're really entrepreneurs. They want to say what they think, and their values are happiness, passion, and sharing, especially. So what about the other generation? So millennials right now are stepping into the leadership positions while the Gen Zs are entering the workforce. So what about them? They were born after 9/11, so they are known as the cultural creators. Of course, every generation is impacted by all the things that happened when they were born during those 10 or 15 years that this generation lasts. So these Gen Zs, they don't simply consume content online like millennials. They love to create content. Almost 25% of them post videos almost once a week. 65% post all type of content. And 9 in 10 watch YouTube daily. So Some of them are called also smart creatives. Many of them employed in the tech industry. They are creative, self-directed. They collaborate freely and like to express themselves. Well, Google talks a lot about this in their book, How Google Works, and they said that they're process business savvy, they're like getting things done, and they work really hard. This is something different from what the older generations are complaining about, the Gen Zs and the Millennials. But apparently, they really work hard. So Gen Zs really want to be true to themselves and want companies that they work for to respect that. These young people really want to drive the cultural change. So as you can see, there's also me in team, right? So Millennials and Gen Zs have something in common. So they are very focused on them. They are starters. They want to focus on growing and taking care of themselves. But that's as a starting point to be able to serve the world better. They know what they want, and they will go for it. As you can see with this lady, Greta Thunberg, she's a very a good example of a Gen Z. So she's an environmental activist, and many are like her. Employees are now really looking for more than just a paycheck. They really want their purpose to be aligned to the company they work for, or even to the products that they buy. They want to align to their purpose. So they also want to unleash their strengths. They want more freedom to work. And they want to develop meaningful and psychologically safe relationships with their teams and especially with their leaders. So this means that they want to feel comfortable when they are speaking, that they can speak freely and they will not be judged. So there's, as we can see, there's a big difference in values and behaviors among all these generations that is making many employees feeling uncomfortable at work in all of them, like baby boomers, millennials, Gen Xers, Gen Z, everyone is kind of feeling uncomfortable with this. So that's why it's so important that we talk about it and try to see how we can solve it. So, and also because we want to solve this because the baby boomers maybe have a strong sense of duty and family, and they are more loyal to the companies. So probably they would stick to the work anyway, even if they don't feel very comfortable. But this is not the same case for the new generations. In the case of these younger generations, this disconnection or this disengagement impacts the generation, resulting in high rates of absenteeism and low retention. So because of this, $300 billion is the cost of unhappy employees every year in the U.S. Unhappy meaning, yes, that they want to leave to another work. They don't care that much about the work they are right now if they are not happy, right? So we have to spend more money on training. We have to spend more money on hiring. So this is a lot of money for America, and this is the same happening in other places in the world. In a survey of 2,000 employees, almost half said that they are looking for a new job, and corporate culture was the main reason for this. And 93% of the employees also said that they would be more likely to stay with their job if their bosses would show more empathy. Empathy is something that maybe in the past we were not that much worried about with leaders, right? Now it's a main issue. And 85% of the employees are either not engaged or actively disengaged. And this is really impacting how the results of the work get, right? What are the results that we get with all this? So how come if we have 85% of the employees maybe not engaged, how are we going to ask them to innovate or to do quality management? It's really hard, right? Probably these are some of the challenges that you are all having. And well, I like citing them in here. We can say that the problematic guys are the millennials or the Gen Zs. So well, let's not hire them, right? We can stay fine where we are, but really, these generations will be even the rates of these generations will be higher through time. So we will really need to work on this. We need to work on the system, as Demi would say, that is defined by the leaders. okay? And this will benefit everyone, not just the millennials or the Gen Zs, but everyone in the company, so that we all feel comfortable to work there. So when I was a young quality engineer myself, I felt also this frustration, right? I had lots of ideas, and I felt like they were not heard. So systems maybe were too structured in many of the companies that I work for to allow for change. So they preferred maybe to stay where they were, right? And that frustrated me a lot. So I think that companies can dictate procedures or standards, but you cannot dictate an employee to be engaged or to improve a process. And especially you cannot do that with these younger generations. So you have to change really the system, as Deming would say. And researchers show that companies with high engagement have a 20% of productivity boost. So this is huge. The problem is now, yes, we need to change, but how? What do we change? What do we do? Well, in the past, we would just wait for the C-suite, right, for the top management to decide what to do. But now, really, like, let's make it simple. As Sergey Brin, Google founder, says, big problems are easier to solve than small problems. So if employees want to participate, so let's make them participate, right? That make them part of the change. Ask them, how can we change? So the way we can change is really build a context that makes people feel comfortable at work. They need, as we were talking about psychological safety before, they need to feel comfortable to come up with new ideas, free to share, able to find a team to implement those ideas. So Amy Edmondson, the Harvard researcher on psychological safety, says that the team structure and the shared beliefs predict a team outcome. So we have to work on that. Basically, the team structure has 3 ingredients, as you can see: the support, the small teams, the leaders, and then the shared beliefs are basically the culture in the company. So the old paradigm in most traditional companies, and it shows that there's a pattern that defines that we are all part of a pyramid, right? Where some are more important than others, and we all need to listen to the most important. This is really changing through time, and the way I see it, this work more like a diamond. So we can no longer listen one way. We need to listen to everybody in the organization because, again, as we discussed at the very beginning, there are so many changes, so many things going on that we need to involve everyone. So this type of diamond, everyone is connected, and the diamond depends on everyone to remain strong and to be shiny. Actually, the diamond is not shining by itself. It's the reflection of the light of each carat. We need to shift from how do I escalate the pyramid to how do we help each other to make this diamond stay stronger. You know, the carbons used for diamonds are the same ones that build a graphite that is used for pencils. So it's so different. So one is so expensive, one is so affordable. What's the difference? The difference is in how all these components are interacting. It's just carbon, but they interact in a different way. So if you want to read more about this, you probably have seen this picture in the March issue of the Quality Progress. That's an article I wrote, and you can read more about this. So let's continue to an example of the work culture that I like these days. There's so many examples these days. This is one of them. I know if you on Saturday you watch the World Live Music event, and these were the Rolling Stones playing from home, right? Everyone together to the same objective that was trying to help and trying to raise money for the health workers. So this is a great example of the we culture. So going back to the other slide, how do we build this context that makes people feel comfortable? Well, what we're going to focus more today, we don't have much time, but the time we have is enough to be able to talk about support. So let's focus on that. Sometimes, you know, in implementations, we say that, well, it doesn't work because the employees don't want to do it. And in my experience, there are many things that we can do as leaders to make this work. The culture, that is the employees' beliefs, habits, and behaviors, are the result of all these things, of the context where they work, the team structure, the leaders. So let's try to work today about how we can change this support, which has to do with the workplace organization, rewards, meeting structures, hiring practices, training methods, and rewards. All right, so most of you maybe are quality experts, some of you maybe are not, but everyone in the company is involved in the employee experience. We are the ones that are quality experts usually focus on the quality of the product, on the customer experience. If you're a business owner, you also focus on that. But it's also time that we focus on this, which is the employee experience. If we really want quality to improve, we really want everyone in the company to help. So we need to get engaged the employees so that they can provide those ideas for improvement. They will not come from the quality experts only, or from the engineers, or from the salesmen. They will come from anyone. So manager, trainers, Six Sigma black belts, or even consultants. We need to get involved in all the steps of the employee experience, from recruiting, hiring, and onboarding to engaging, performing, developing, and even in the departing of the company. So we need to build quality into the purpose, the brand, and the culture of the company. The employee experience really is no longer an HR job. And our job is not only on the production side. We all need to be involved in all these steps through multidisciplinary teams, and I will talk more about that later. So let's talk about recruitment. First step, companies need to be recruiting all the time. Employees will want to change positions or leave the company soon, so we need to get people going into the company all the time. Some companies are encouraging employees to reach out to their networks to find potential candidates. The new generations value really to be surrounded by friends, so this is a good way to start. To recruit these generations, it is important to show them the benefits of belonging to the organization and not just focus on the salary. They're usually interested in being part of the organization that shows interest in the community and the environment. They also want to know about career opportunities, training possibilities, flexible hours, and vacations. So I'm showing here some comments from Glassdoor. Please type yes if you have ever used Glassdoor. So Doug, tell me if there's any answer here or no, maybe. But Glassdoor is one of the sites used by millennials and Gen Zs to look for companies they want to work for, because they can share reviews just like they do with products. So millennials love peer reviews. They're able to get to go to Glassdoor and see what other people think about the company. They can criticize whenever they leave. So this is really good. If you would like to go to Glassdoor and see what they say about your company, it would be a great help to see where you can improve. So more about this. How do you hire? So how you hire can help really shape the culture, either to reinforce it or push it into new directions. So make sure the employee is a good fit for the company is very important in order not to spend money on someone that will leave the company soon. Again, we talked about a lot of money to spend when that happens. So that's why the new hire training is also very important. So not only the hiring process, but also how you induce this person into the company. Zappos, for example, the shoe company that belongs to Amazon, provides a 4-week customer service training to everyone who joins the company. So no matter if you're joining for a management position or whatever, HR, you're always going to these customer service training, and they have 2 interviews, one for technical fit and another one for culture fit. And they both need to be a yes. And once they finish the training, they offer $2,000 to the ones that want to leave the company right now. So that means, okay, you are not loyal enough and you want this $2,000, okay, go now. I don't want you in my company. So this is for them a proof of loyalty. Then Google, for example, has a committee that reviews all the offers, and for them it's really important to make sure that the these hires. I hire for the capability and the learning ability before they hire for the expertise. Sometimes they hire scientists because they think they have a good fit for the company. In the case of IDEO, for example, they like hiring unicorns, people who don't necessarily fit in a prescribed role, but have something unique, a perspective or a set of skills that is good for them. Maybe if you're trying to, improve something in the company, maybe you can hire someone that maybe is not knowledgeable on the product, but is very good on continuous improvement, on innovation, and maybe you can hire them based on ideas. So the other very important topic is engagement. Once you hire your employees, you need to deliver what you promise to keep them happy. So to retain employees, you must build an environment that has a clear purpose and foster loyalty and growth to be able to connect with these employees. Millennials constantly require feedback from their leaders to see if they're moving into the right direction. So they also need mentors and coaches to help bridge their lack of corporate knowledge, which we usually see in the new hires. That's why any tool that helps to evaluate and show performance can be useful to motivate young people, especially in very standardized jobs. Offer more freedom and agility. It's good millennials work at their best when they feel they have the power to make decisions, how to do things. Also how to define their goals. More and more companies are working not by sector also, but like accounting or engineering, but they are building these multidisciplinary teams by customer, by product, with people from purchases, manufacturing, design, and sales, everyone in the same team. And this is kind of what we're saying with HR or with quality. Everyone in the team can help to build that specific product, okay, instead of working in silos. Managerial positions and staff positions like HR quality experts are being replaced by team members that can provide this information, but there's still a need to get quality experts to train everyone how to be closer to the customer. Now, quality is everybody's job, so maybe there's not going to be a department for quality, but we still need the experts. So in order to build this engagement, workspace layout is another way of improving the context and let them know our purpose. So this is me in this picture. You can see me visiting Zappos. I like to visit companies to see if what books say about them are true. So I went to Zappos headquarters in Las Vegas, and they really had lots of fun things at work, including a place to sleep and the possibility to bring your pet to work. They developed 10 values to build their culture. One of them is create fun at work. And maybe you want to ask, what does this have to do with quality? Well, Edward Deming, again, back in the 70s, was one of the first quality experts to talk about the importance of joy at work. He said, in place of competition for high writing, high grades to be #1, there will be cooperation on problems of common interest. The result will in time be greater innovation, applied science, technology, expansion of market, greater service, greater material reward for everyone, and there will be joy in work, joy in learning, and everyone will win, no losers. So yes, this is again part of the we culture. The other picture that I'm showing here, yes, guess what? Any ideas? Where is this? Doug, any ideas there? Well, this looks like a...
People can go ahead and put something in the chat window if they want on this one.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you see in the back, you can see this is not a vacation center like it looks like, but it's Google actually. Yes. So let's move on to the next slide to see more about Google. I was able to visit Google, which is really difficult, but ASQ Latin America organized an event, and I was able to join them. And it was a really great experience. There are like food stores or cafes. You can see this picture on the right, where there are these food stores like every 50 meters, so that everyone can join. You can, whenever you join, you meet someone and you talk to that person, maybe great ideas to improve products or to improve processes can come up. They even have like sheets or documents that you can read while you're on the restroom. So this is great. They're trying to pick your brains every time, and this is so nice. You team up with people whenever you go for for a walk or when you have something to eat, and boom, yes, you have this great opportunity to innovate. So it's good. They also have bikes that you can have like 5 people riding in the same bike at the same time. It's like that you can have a meeting while you ride the bicycle. This is amazing. And they even allow people to have different brands of phones, not only the Google ones, so that they can compare, learn, and ideate from the things that they like from other phones or computers. So these are all ways of innovating. Then how meetings are set up is truly important to ensure millennials feel safe to talk. Everyone needs to be able to talk. So candidate feedback is key, and you have to take it positively. So maybe you have these bikes from Google, or you have this type of meetings in meeting rooms full of pictures. Anyone know where is this picture? Where was this taken? Well, let me tell you, this picture shows Pixar Brain Trust meetings. Pixar had like 17 in a row major box office successes. Impossible for the industry, not even Disney accomplished that, and they were able to do it because they focused a lot on psychological safety, really. One of the things that I would like to mention is that, yes, we as quality experts, even again, business owners, everyone really wants to focus on having everything right the first time. But through all these changes and innovation that we're trying to navigate even these days with all these new things going on, it's very hard to have things right the first time. So we have to risk it a bit. We won't be able to innovate if we don't want to risk it. So we need to ask people to provide candid feedback, and maybe if they fail, okay, what's the next step? But we need to fail fast, right? This is something that in quality we always say that we need to find the mistake as soon as possible. So this is still valid, but we don't have to punish if there's a mistake. We need to, okay, see lessons learned and move on. Okay. This is very important for these new generations to respect what they're saying. And the other way, we were talking about workspace. Well, there are many companies also that are posting beautiful, beautiful posters. This is one I saw in a client where this was about meetings. They even include how to clean up after the meeting. So maybe you're implementing 5S or other quality methods. You can include them in these beautiful charts, which it's part of the visual management techniques that millennials and the new generations really love to see at work. And yes, I wanted to mention these. We not only have meetings today that are face-to-face. Actually, we don't have that anymore these days, but we do have online meetings, and we have them more than ever. So there are many tools that you can use to engage millennials. Like if you have them for 4 hours talking and talking and talking, this won't work. So you can use some tools like this, which is this is Mural. You can use Trello, Asana. There are great tools that you can use to contribute virtually and do like brainstorming. Just like if you had your little post-it, you can do that online. So this is amazing that you can try them. So rewards. Rewards is a very good part of engagement. So remember that new generations don't work just for the paycheck. So they care about money, yes, though it's not the prime motivator, really. Actually, it never was for any generation. The difference is that now maybe team members are not afraid to say it. And they want to have more freedom to come up with other solutions. So we all have other motivators, not just money. We have intrinsic motivators. So at Zappos, for example, they engage team members by rewarding each other. So they use these dollars as a way to doing peer reviews. So you can give dollars to a friend or coworker that did a good job. So that's good. It's not only supervisors doing it, but everyone can do that. They actually don't even have supervisors. So some companies offer platforms with challenges, rankings. Some are like companies like GE, Honeywell, HubSpot, Netflix, or Dropbox offer unlimited vacation days. Some offer more days of maternity and paternity to all the employees. So there are many ways, as long as you're not promoting individual competition, like rankings or individual bonuses. So the good thing is that you can do rewards that reward team working. So this is very important. Then last but not least, let's talk about training. So these new generations love to learn and to receive feedback. So it's very important that we do more frequent feedback sessions as opposed to annual reviews that scare people and simply communicate too late, really. Usually these annual reviews, they simply frustrate your employees. So one-on-one meetings to coach employees should be part of the development of the employee. Sessions need to be more frequent, right next to the moment of truth, and less formal to be effective, actually. And as professionals rank also training opportunities as more valuable than promotions, learning, offering various learning options matter, really. Online courses, blogs, videos, apps, everything, any type of training would be good for these new generations. They like the flexibility of being able to train where, when, and how they want to work. Again, this is not only for the new generations, but you have to offer different ways. You cannot only go to the online courses and not have face-to-face, because there are some generations that would prefer maybe the face-to-face. So now we have to offer different options for everyone to be happy at work, really. So another development opportunity is offering the possibility of doing reverse mentoring, for example. That is millennials mentoring to the baby boomers on technology. So this is another way. Learning is across sectors, really, to be able to build multidisciplinary teams. So we have to work both ways: communication, training. Everyone can train anyone. The most precious skill today will be creativity, relationship building, and change management. This is what's coming. This is what was discussed in last year world conference, quality in May last year. So this is becoming more and more important. Companies need to develop or maybe retrain existing staff that is upskilling to excel on these skills, as universities are not yet focusing on these soft skills. For some companies, even the onboarding process, as we said before, is key. This is the picture for Virgin Australia, for example, that provides training on fear, depression, and psychological safety. This is something that was never ever talked about in any in the airplane industry, right? And this is something that we'll never talk about because no, pilots, they're perfect. They cannot suffer anything, and that's not true. They're people, they're normal people like us, and we all can suffer from depression. We all can have bad moments, and it's a good time to talk about this. So trainings on these soft skills are truly, truly important at work to make people feel comfortable. So to wrap up, this is our role as quality professionals, as quality practitioners, is to make sure we get involved in all the steps of the employee experience to help quality become part of the culture, of this week culture. As part of this virtual cycle that you can see here, building a system that cares for the employees, we connect to them, we ask how they feel, we respect their desires, we empower them to work, helps to increase the engagement and the happiness at work. So if employees are happy at work and psychologically safe, they will also feel more responsible to serve better the customer. And in the end, this will bring happy customers, happy suppliers, which of course will be increasing the profits with less efforts. We don't have to spend that much on marketing or hiring someone to tell us how to improve. Maybe the same customers or the same employees can tell us what to do. And of course, we can have less waste because the same employees can help us build processes that are more lean. So this is the virtual cycle that is really, really important. So how do we go about this virtual cycle? Here we are. You have to communicate. You have to first get to know your team members, connect to their experience, and observe. Then listen to what they need, what generation they are, what are their personalities. You can do personality tests like Myers-Briggs or anything that you can come out. That's very important so that you can understand who they are and respect their values, their interests, their motivations, and even their fears. So train to adapt to all these type of generations to the leaders, because the leaders here are the ones that are setting the example, are the ones that are in contact with every employee all the time. So they may also be suffering being millennials or being baby boomers or any type of leader. They need to feel fine with themselves, and so that they can respect their employees too. Training needs to include coaches and mentors that help these leaders build new habits. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to change from one time to the other. So they need to build these habits to increase feedback sessions, listen more, and be more like a facilitator than a director. That way will help to empower them, to empower all these employees to get involved in quality by improving and innovating. So empower them, give them the power to improve and to innovate. All right, so when it is, I understand it's not easy to incorporate all these new ideas. Millennials and Gen Zs will be for many years the largest percentage of the workforce. So being agile to adapt to their needs should be part of the plan of any company. So bear in mind that the turnover cost can be more expensive than we think. The cost to a company of a highly skilled employee that leaves could be as high as 213% of the cost of 1 year compensation for that role. So does your company want to adapt or keep bearing the loss? So I think it's very important that we all work these new habits to act like a weak company. So that's our task for today. Okay, so let's see. Before we leave, I would like to know to see how your company is doing. So let's do on the last poll. Do you feel like your company is changing any of the routines to become a we company that embraces all the generations? Yes or no, please. Thank you, Doug. Again, you are going to say yes if you feel like your company is changing any of the routines to become a we company that embraces all generations. Maybe you are using some of the things that I mentioned. This is only some of them. There are so many things, so many great things that companies are doing that I didn't mention. But maybe you want to talk about them. Please feel free to write your comments, to speak up, and tell us what your company is doing. All right. So how are we doing, Doug?
Well, we're doing pretty well. We're almost 3/4 through. There's still some people answering questions. We'll give them a chance here. There were a couple of questions, though. Back a few slides ago, you don't need to turn it back, but a couple of slides ago, you talked about a tool that allowed people to share online. What was the name of that tool?
Well, there was one that was called Mural, M-U-R-A-L.
Okay.
Like a wall, mural.
Mural, that one, yes.
Yes, it's like you have like Post-its, just the same that you use in your regular flip chart. It's the same, and there's so many features that you can do, like surveys. You can see how a training went. It's really good, and you can also do anonymous play games. Like you can have people having names of animals, like this is a squirrel, that's a spider, and so you don't know who's saying what, but everyone is participating with this Post-it. It's good, very good. You have to try.
Sometimes that anonymity helps people feel freer to talk about things, right? I mean,
yes, correct. Yes, because again, we're saying that millennials and the new generations want to talk more about it. Maybe they feel more free to talk about things, but not everyone. I mean, there are different personalities. There are some that may be more shy to speak. And there are some from the other generations that may not be used to speak. I've seen that a lot, that maybe you ask them, hey, you can participate. I give you power. I empower you. And it takes time for them to get used to this. So we need to coach them to do that. And we need to help them with these tools, anonymous, which is good.
So we have results on our poll here.
Good. All right. So we have like 107 out of the 220 that are doing things good, like 50%. Excellent. There are some that not yet, like a 25%, 70 that didn't answer. So that's a good thing. We have a lot of companies doing things. That's great. It's good that we share all those things that companies are doing so that we all learn from each other. It's great. Thank you for answering all these polls. All right, so now it's time for questions. Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, we've got questions here. This has been great. People have been asking questions all along. So one individual, Joe, says, this is nice. I see the problem, I see I am the problem, not these youngsters. You've inspired me to change. And so, hey, Joe, boomer speaking there. Linda, she says, as a millennial, I feel like I may share too much. Is there such a thing as communicating too much?
No.
What do you think?
Well, let me answer some of the questions. Joe, no, don't feel bad. There's no one doing anything wrong. As the same for the millennials. Say, I'm talking too much. I'm not talking too much. No, nothing is really wrong. We need to adapt to this. So we're all part of the problem. Even millennials cannot. It's not that, because we're millennials, we're allowed to talk and say anything. No, like we all have to understand each other. We have to respect each other and see the benefits that everyone, all the strengths that everyone has to offer, because baby boomers have a lot of knowledge to offer. So we need to listen to them. That doesn't mean that they are always right. We may have other ideas. Great. So let's talk about it respectfully. Okay. So there's nothing as such as, oh, I'm communicating too much. No, it's good as long as you're letting others talk too. We have to be, again, respectful. That's very important for everyone. Yes. Anything else?
I think your concept of being respectful is really important. You have to respect yourself. You also have to respect others. That's all good. So there was a question about that tool, that mural. Is it a free tool?
Well, yes, I think that part is some things you can get for free. So you have to go to the website and see what are things that you can, how you can deal with it. There are other tools that are also free, like I also mentioned Asana, I also mentioned Trello. Most of the online tools, like Zoom or you have Meet with Google, most of them have a part that is free. So try to see if that works for you, and maybe if you need more features, you're working with that all the time, you may need another version. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Google is your friend. Put something in there, say, hey, free online collaboration, and see what it comes back with. You can even get reviews on that. So I've learned that. All right. So we have some other questions here. So Louise asked a question pretty long. She says, can you give, like a warning to correct an attitude or maybe one-on-one advice besides doing formal training for Millennials and Gen Zs? Now, they're good at starting the work. They're showy. They're eager and they're interested. But sometimes they lack commitment, dedication, follow-through. And so what would be the good approach to deal with that if they start strong and sort of fizzle out?
Yeah, the best approach would be one-on-one coaching. Maybe if you see many people in the same team doing the same kind of things, maybe you can do a team exercise to talk about respect and being committed. But the first thing is speak one-on-one and try to identify what's really the problem. Because again, it's not that, oh, this generation is not committed. So there may be a problem, maybe something very specific, like, remember that we were talking about the 94, 6% versus the 6%. Most of the problems maybe have to do with the way the company works, with the culture of the company, with the context. Or maybe it's the person that is really not committed, or they don't like whatever they're doing. I have experience working with a lot of younger people, and yeah, at first they were not committed, they didn't want to work, and I keep talking to them, I keep telling them, hey, see this, see that. They get more attention from you. This is like, like in a family, you have a new baby, and they, keep all the attention. Whenever you look the other way, they start crying, right? It's kind of like that. They really want our attention. So why don't we listen to them and see what is it that they're asking? Maybe they are asking for more training. Maybe they want more attention. Maybe they want to switch jobs. Again, if they don't like the job, they will tell you. Or maybe they don't know how to tell you, but they will not work. So try to find out what is it that they want, what is it that they don't like it. Maybe we can find a trick in the work so that they start liking it. Sometimes they don't understand why they are doing that. They don't understand the purpose, so that's why they are not engaged. So we also need to work on that. Talking, and listen. It's very important. Going to the Gemba or going to the line, to the work, wherever the work is done, it's very important to hear what they need to say. I'm not saying maybe you're wrong or maybe they're wrong. Again, nobody's really wrong. We are trying to always think that everyone is trying to do their best and start from there.
Okay. There was a question earlier, the IDEO, that's a company? What was that?
Yes, it's a company that has been working a lot on innovations. They do a lot of software that is used commonly, and this company is one of the first that they for example they work on the design thinking method. Those were one of them that work with that. So it's a great company to learn from, to learn how to innovate. They start working in teams. They work with agile methods. So it's good that we keep learning about these new companies. Well, they're not new. No, they have like 20 years, but they're using new methods that we all can learn from. Yes.
Okay. So here's a question from Amanda. She says, I run into many problems where I'm investigating and looking to improve our quality processes, and I ask questions to another department, and I get told, stay in your lane. Any suggestions on how to break down that wall?
Yes, we need to break that wall. That's what I was saying before. We're too used to work in silos. So if your company is working in silos, don't feel bad. Really, most of the companies are still working that way. But it's good that you have this question and try to see how we can solve this. So maybe you want to go to your supervisor, someone in another, in a higher rank, or maybe you can just talk to your coworkers and say, hey, how can we do a team to break this down, to work on this project? And we talked about multidisciplinary teams. It's about that. It's about having people from different departments working on the same team, no more than 12 people. Between 6 and 10 is ideal. And see, okay, you have this problem with quality, let's work on that. Maybe it's not something that I know, maybe it's not something that the lab knows, but maybe sales team knows it or engineering team knows about it. So that's why it's so important to have these conversations. I know it's super hard. Yes, I know it's hard. But we need to keep pushing. Again, go anyone you can in your company and try to raise the voice. You're trying to do something good for the company. So someone needs to hear that. Yeah. You can make this person or these people watch this webinar later on. Maybe they will be interested.
Okay, boy, there's a lot of questions coming in, and unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to answer all of them. I want you guys to remember you have her email address, and you can ask her, send in her email, and ask this question later on.
Yes, please. Here you have the information. There are a lot of information online, a lot of blogs I post. or you can ask me the question directly, and I will help you if I can. Yes.
Okay, so there's one here that I think I could help answer. Eric says, many problems are usually due to the system. That's the responsibility of the leaders. How do you train leaders, especially if you're subordinate? And I can suggest an answer that comes from years ago. We're doing a webinar series with Dr. Greg Watson, and in there he talks about a conversation he had with one of the famous consultants, and the fellow is a CEO, and he says, you can't train your CEO. You can't train your leaders. They're smart people. What you need to do is to give them the facts and the information of what's going on. Okay? If the system's broken, you need to demonstrate that it's the system that's broken. Okay? And they'll take it from there. That was, in general, an answer. There is a question here. Let's see. We got another one that just came in.
Regarding that, Doug, I wanted to add, it's very good what you said, and yes, the facts are very important. That's always going to be important to really show why you're saying what you're saying. It's not just, Google, for example, they are very, very careful on this. If you have an idea, great, but show me how you're going to make it work so that I really give you the money to work on that, right? But I would add that it's very important that when you're trying to work with leaders, you have to you don't have to train them directly. Maybe you can do trainings, or you can present things as you mentioned. But the other way that I use to train leaders is to show them the results, not with numbers, but really with actions. So this is what I call the bottom up. You usually have top-down instruction, but you also have bottom up. When you actually maybe the leaders don't change behaviors, but you get the real people, the operators, everyone in the field to change behaviors. I've seen this a lot with 5S. They get more organized. Their site is beautiful. They reduce costs, reduce quality, improve quality, reduce safety incidents. And once they achieve this, leaders say, so what happened here? What changed? Well, we made them participate more. They are speaking their minds. They are saying what they think. And that's how leaders say, okay, so that's what I have to do. I have to listen to them. Yes.
So you show them success, and
yes.
It's hard to argue with success, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the brainstorming app is where, did you say? Where would you find that? You said it was
It's Mural. Look for Mural online. M-U-R-A-L. What I will do, I will share the link if you want. If whoever wants to send me an email, I will share you the links to some of these apps so that you can get to them. Yeah.
That would seem to be very popular. So
yes.
Tell you what, give that to me. I'll put it in the email that goes out in the end.
Excellent.
And everyone can have the link from that one. Okay.
Great.
So we're at the end of our time here. Again, I wanted to thank people for coming. We'll stop our recording at this point.